Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you so much for joining. Well, this episode is all about synchronicities. And one thing I've noticed with the Mandela effect affected is that many of them are noticing many synchronicities. And I believe there's a reason for that. For me personally, synchronicities started when I was in my late teens. My mom's birthday was November 11th, and she passed away in my late teens. And soon after she passed away, I would start noticing 11:11 on the clock. And I felt like it was her way of saying, hey, it's okay, I'm still here. And then once I got with my brother and sister later on, I found out the same thing was happening with them as well. But after, I don't know, a decade or so, I began to think maybe I was just noticing it because, it was her birthday and that it just stuck out because of that. And I don't know, I just started disbelief set in, I guess, after a while, and I stopped seeing them as much. And I'd see them every once in a while, sort of like, hey, you, I'm still here, but I kind of blow it off or whatever. And then earlier this year, early 2017, actually in March, when I realized the Mandela effect was indeed real, and I had some 100% items that happened, I started having synchronicities again after that, as I was on this journey of trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And I think synchronicities are basically like signposts along the way. Like when you're on a long trip and you kind of get in a daze, and then you're like, hey, am I on the right highway? And you start looking to make sure that you're on the right highway, and as a sort of a confirmation that you're on the right track or whatever. And I don't believe it really has to be a specific set of numbers. Um, Many times it's just a repeating number for me, or a sequence of numbers that makes sense. And so but I think it's sort of like when you're in a waiting room and you get this impulse. If you look around the room and no one's really looking at you, you don't think much of it. But if you catch eyes with someone, there's sort of this extra realization of the moment, right? And it sort of grabs your attention. And I think that's what synchronicities are like. When it grabs your attention, it's a synchronicity. And for me personally, it's just a confirmation that I'm on the right track, and it's a signpost to let me know that I'm where I need to be. There might be more into it, and if you've got certain numbers that mean something special to you, I'm certainly not trying to take away from that. But for me personally, the 1111 is a reminder of my mom. But other than that, repeating numbers are sort of a signpost to let me know that I am on the right track with whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing in life in general. So I just grabbed a few here to look at. I thought it was neat that with I did a video about synchronicities, and that's funny because it's happened several times. At the end of my last video, or a couple videos back, I had a synchronicity where it started on 11:11 and it finished on 12:12. Right when I was about to mention synchronicities, it popped up, or I looked at the clock, of course, and it was 12:12, and it was sort of a confirmation. But again, it happened today when I was on Mandela Effected's channel, and he was talking about synchronicities. I left a comment, and sure enough, after I hit enter on the comment, I looked down, it was 5:55 on the clock. I was watching a video by Everyday Masters, and he was talking about synchronicities, and I look over at the clock, and sure enough, it was there was a synchronicity right then. So here's an example of one that's not specifically a time, but the hands lined up in such a way that sort of grabbed my attention. Um, so it's not always a specific set of numbers or sequence of numbers, for me anyway. For me, it's like, the 369 times table, so it's sort of in sync in a way that grabbed my attention when I looked at it. And it happens over and over again, more than ever. I got to the point where I started pulling my camera out and taking pictures, or taking a screenshot whenever it happens. And yeah, I just think it's just a way of letting you know you're on the right track. And it can be just that extra little bit of confirmation you need to let you know, hey, it's okay. This all is supposed to be happening. Have faith and don't be afraid. And I mentioned in another video when I got a ringing in my right ear, which is supposed to be like a positive thing. And I opened the door and asked my daughter what time it was, and she says 1:23. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it can come in all sorts of. I think really just depends on the person, and if you specifically, if something grabs your attention, it's probably a synchronicity for you. And I don't think there's any specific way it goes down. And like I said, there could be deeper meaning in it, but for me, it's just sort of a signpost that I'm on the right track, and just the confirmation in general. So with that, I will leave you all. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. I got more coming down the pipe. Thank you.